We're talking Alien Earth episode 5 titled In Space. No one dot dot dot. You know the rest. Yeah, man, I'm super juiced after watching this episode. This is probably my favorite episode of this series so far. So I'm super jumped because we got exactly what I talked about. The Toxellis is the star of this show, and in this episode, you get to finally see him battle the Xenomorph. I talked about Xenomorph Killer earlier earlier in my episode reviews, and some people questioned it. We got to see exactly what that looked like in this episode. We also got a lot of Morrow, so definitely want to talk about that and everything that happened in this episode. This is your host, Flyknit J. Please make sure you like and sub that video, sub to the channel. And without further ado, man, I'm excited. Let's just jump into it.
One of you is trying to destroy my ship.
We finally get to find out what happened in space. I've been thinking about this for a while as the series been going. I'm like, well, what happened to actually make it crash here? Is it some company espionage or someone in there sabotaging things? Like, what happened on that ship? We finally get the answer. This episode, man, this is classic Alien. If you watch Alien recently, I mean, you talk about flashbacks even to the chains, the way the ship looks, the lurking of trying to find a monster in there, a lot of things going on that are literally replicated of Alien. And I feel like Alien Earth had this in their back pocket. I wasn't the biggest fan of episode 4. I thought it was solid, but a little slow for me. But they had this in their back pocket that says, hey, whenever we need a little reset or to get you away from what's currently happening with these characters, we can go back and tell you what happened on the ship. And it is a like for like, basically, mini movie of Alien. So if you've just seen the show and you haven't seen Alien, go back and watch that because you'll definitely enjoy it and it will remind you a lot of this episode. Man, so many places to go here. One thing I'm excited about before I hop into the TXL is Morrow. He's been one of my favorite characters throughout this series. I wanted to learn more about him. I was a little disappointed in the last episode that he was a little more sticking to the company. I was hoping that he would maybe trying to get a hybrid body himself, and maybe he'll still try to do that. Or maybe he'll have his own kind of priorities that stay away from the company. This episode explores him deeply and shows you why he has his loyalty, especially at the end of the episode. But yeah, it was really cool seeing him being woken up. The ship is kind of in disarray. Certain things are going on because if somebody's sabotaging the ship and being the security officer, he needs to go and handle it and make sure everybody's safe. And really, that the cargo is the most important thing. And you felt like in that first episode, you thought Morrow was maybe a little more of a villain, where he's typing in and he says, hey, man, the crew is expendable and the cargo is the most important thing. Well, you see exactly where he got that from, because that was a direct order. And he told them that. He said, hey, the cargo is the most important thing, and that's my mission. You guys are expendable, so listen to what I say, and you might live, and we'll all try to make it out of here. But if it comes down between you and the cargo, it's going to be the cargo because that's the most important thing. So I did like that by Morrow. We got a little bit of a backstory with him, not really a backstory, but a little bit of flashback with him and his daughter, and obviously why he worked for Utani and why he had that level of loyalty. But that kind of goes down and diminishes as the star of the show was a Toxellis. So we got to figure out what kind of happened with the sabotage. Obviously, species get released all over the place, and the Toxellis, man, showed so much in this episode, man. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. So obviously we go to the lab and a lot of things are going on, and obviously we have the doctor. I think Chabizo is her name. So a lot of things going on in that lab, and basically she's testing out things, she's studying. She has the little insects. I think they're called Zoyas. So she has little insects and she's in there feeding them and studying and getting and getting some data on them. And funny enough, those things are like hella smart too, because we get in there and they figure out how to open the case that she has and open up and get out. Now the TXLs kind of sees this. This was an interesting point. I had to look around. I was on Reddit a little bit, but it seemed like when the Zoyas, I'm just gonna call them that. Hopefully I'm right. The Zoyas were trying to get out. The Toxellis kind of warned her and was like kind of warning her like, hey, you're not paying attention. Now I had to that was my theory. I was like, okay, maybe with the humans, it feels like it has some level of maybe relationship because they're really intelligent creatures. So maybe it tries to communicate and talk through them. But we also know like if it gets a chance to get a host, it's going to take one. So you felt like maybe he had some level of loyalty to her. I listened to the Alien Earth podcast, just a little clip of it because they addressed this, and it said actually the TXLs was trying to have chaos happen so it could get out. So it was trying to distract Chibizu so the Zoya can get out and obviously do what they needed to do, and obviously it resulted in the death of one of the crew members. So it didn't have the kind of loyalty, but I thought that was an interesting point. I mean, let me know what you think in the comments, because that's what they said. But everybody can have their own take of what was going on. And obviously, we'll see later. So obviously, in the lab, people get the things get into the cup, and obviously they take them out, and as they're planning, the Toxellis figures out like, hey, like this is how I'm gonna get out. And now distracted her, she didn't secure this as much as like to have it hit the I think it's the green dot was it was secure in the red dot. So you didn't secure it, so you see the green dot, so you know it's gonna get out. Now it slingshots itself to get out of its case and breaks the glass, and now it's free. So man, definitely it's a super smart creature and probably the most. I mean, we still have creatures that we haven't or species that we haven't really been able to see yet, but this thing is super interesting, and I think it's really helping this franchise tell an original story for a species. I mean, we know about the xenomorph, we know them for a while, the little predators lurking out there. I think it's really cool that we have another species that is a threat and can go toe to toe with those. And I know I'll hop into it later, but a lot of thought is that the xenomorph is nerfed because it's supposed to be this perfect species, it's supposed to be this perfect predator. I think it's better if it has other things that can fight it. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But back to the episode, obviously, we know chaos, somebody sabotaging the ship. The xenomorph gets out, and of course, it grows up. The crew members in here, I didn't really care too much for them other than Morrow because it felt like, yeah, you guys are very expendable, but it still sucks the realization of they're on the ship and you know they're cooked. Like you know it's gonna happen to these people, but you got to spend an episode with them. Like, yeah, it's not gonna end well for y'all, except for Morrow here as he's gonna get out. But I think it was very cool seeing Morrow go through his procedures and obviously talk to mother, figure out what's going on, and really have the smarts and the know-how to be like, hey, the xenomorph's out there. I know how to capture it. I know how to get it back. So I don't know what experience he's had with them before, but I thought that was pretty cool. Going back, of course, everything goes to hell. Everything gets out. Crew members. It's cool. I think when they got a sabotage and he let the facehuggers out, one of the crew members wraps around their neck and they try to cut it and realize it's the acid blood. Goes and kills him, and obviously they ship him out, and the other one births the xenomorph that we know from episodes 1 and 2. So I thought that was cool of them kind of learning what these things are doing as they're going on because they really don't have experience. But then yeah, everything basically goes to hell, and he starts interviewing people. And I had a little theory, and I was wrong. I never did a video on it, but I think it was as Han, the synthetic that I thought he was the one that like got controlled and was doing his company sabotage. Obviously, felt like it was somebody else, but Morrow's going through his procedures. He's figuring out who's doing it, and he finally it's kind of like a who done it. He gets to the bottom of it and figure out okay who's sabotaging the ship, and he's pissed. He's ready to take them out the whole time. So I thought that was cool. But again, the main thing I want to talk about. The Toxellis gets out. The xenomorph is now doing his thing. It's taking stuff out, and the Toxellis gets into one of the human bodies, and I had talked about this. Other episode, everybody said, "Hey man, like nothing's gonna touch the xenomorph." As soon as it gets into that human body, they knew what we wanted to see. I've been talking about it for episodes. I'm like, I can't wait to see an alien on alien fight. I want to see the xenomorph go up against the Toxellis. We still don't know what the plant can do yet, so we haven't gotten that far. Hopefully, we will soon. But I want to see what it looks like because it's so strategic, it's so smart, and what can it do in a capable body? It really in this episode didn't have a capable body, but we've realized it does have some beef with the xenomorph, and there's a lot to discuss in here. So, obviously, the Toxellis, I feel like it has experience fighting the xenomorph before. So we get to the part where the new captain, I forget her name, but she's running away and she gets to the room and obviously runs into the Toxellis. And then it gets there, and obviously it has some level of communication because it feels like the xenomorph was like, "Yeah, I'm good." He just kind of walks away, and it feels like he calls it back. And as soon as the xenomorph walks in there, he's like, "You know what? It's up." And obviously, it has its control. It finds ways to attack it. I think one of the very interesting things of why I say it has experience with this xenomorph is the way it bites it in the back of the neck and acid blood doesn't come out. I mean, I think the discussion was like a lot of people didn't think it could really mess with the xenomorph because of the blood. And obviously it can't take it over, it can't get into its eye socket because that'll cause it to bleed and then it'll kill its Toxellis. Anyway, this thing, like, I I would be interested to see what happened between this species and the xenomorph species in the past because it feels like it has experience. It knows what it's doing. Like even inside the body and outside the body, it knew how to attack the xenomorph. And but like they were boxing. Like this thing was finding a way to really, in this really not much capable, like this older fat guy was able to find a way to use this human body to his advantage and really beat up on the xenomorph. Like I just xenomorph got the better of the body in the end, which you would expect, but it really knew what it was doing. And I'm wondering now, is this really the apex predator in this universe? Now we know we got the predators out there. We know we got the xenomorphs, and that's dangerous. But this thing with how smart it is, how strategic it is, how creative it is. I mean, it fought the xenomorph inside and outside the body. Like I don't know what level of beef they had in the past, but this thing wanted smoke with the xenomorph, and that's kind of the fun thing about it. Like it was like, nah, I'm not running. I'm not self-preserving. Like I got problems with you. We about to find out what it is. So I thought that was obviously the best part of the episode, seeing this thing fight. And I mean, so many theories are gonna come out of this. I mean, again, I said xenomorph killer. We now know it can kill a xenomorph. Now, did it kill it in the episode? No. But if it gets a more capable body, if it's able to, and I say this, if it finds a preferable situation to fight a xenomorph, I think just even or having some regular body, like probably not. But if because it's so strategic, if it's able to find an area with an advantage, maybe animals it can take over, maybe humans. I talked about it earlier. If it ever get control of a cyborg, look out! Like we're all cooked. Well, not us, but the people on alien Earth. So they're all cooked. So I think this thing has so high potential and it's smart, and it's really the most interesting character that or the most interesting, I guess, monster that this series has given us. And I'm glad they focused in on that because I thought that was very important. You want to hop into the lore of Alien, like we know about the xenomorph. We don't know what happened on Earth, and we don't know about these new species. And I think what they're doing is they're building out a new lore for a species that we're like, hey, later on, if the predators run out here and find these things, like we know they're trouble. If people in future alien franchise properties go and find these things, like we know they're trouble. So I think that is a really good thing, having another dangerous alien running around that, if it gets on Earth, like we talked about the xenomorph probably getting out on Earth and being like, man, I don't know, it could really be over for Earth. If the Toxellis gets out on Earth, Dick really could be over for Earth because we still don't know what its intentions are. Does it use humans? Can it breed itself? Like there's so many unanswered questions. Can it replicate? Like, can it take over multiple bodies? Like, I'm just saying, like we don't know yet, and that was my thing of why I wanted to see these things fight, because now I know what it's capable of in combat, really without a lot going for it. It's just a human body and its tentacles. So I thought that was really cool, and that was clearly the highlight of the episode. Now, back to Morrow. I mean, I thought this episode was really cool, watching him kind of be. I mean, it's kind of our Ripley of the episode. More so, he knew what he was doing, and he was trying to track down whoever was doing some detective work. I thought that was really cool. I mean, this crew. They were pretty expendable. I mean, as far as characters, we weren't really interested in. We kind of knew their fate, but I thought this was a cool, I guess, with 50-minute sequence of really Alien, and it brought you back. And like I said, I talked about the chains, I talked about the nostalgia and the looks. I mean, they distracted us 4 times with those chains, like waiting for the alien to pop down there, and they didn't do it. So they kind of baited us with that. But I thought it was a cool retro feel, and going back to an Alien mini movie, I thought that was excellent. Um, a couple things here. Now we know Morrow's kind of future plan. So obviously he has the loyalty of the new Utani, which is cool. I mean, again, I'm hoping he gets more of individual priorities, but he knows now Boy Cavalier was the proponent and the sabotager of the ship, and that caused all these problems for Morrow. Now his job is to go after, and what he said, and they gave him full cart. He's like, do whatever you want. I need I need weapons, and I'm gonna go back, get these species, and I'm gonna go after Boy Cavalier and kill him. So, hey man, maybe Mark for Death hit too, and it just wasn't who I thought it would be, because we still got Kirsch out there. We still obviously have Wendy, who has loyalty to herself and her brother, and we still have all these species over here on this island. Which if they get loose, I mean, where are you really gonna go? So, I mean, it's a lot going on with this series, but I think they're doing a great job. Yeah, I mean, this was a super fun episode. I'm really interested to see where the Toxellis kind of goes from here. I want to see more stuff done with it. But again, I'm so happy that we're exploring lore and we're getting into future episodes, and they're not just giving us the same thing over and over again. That was kind of my biggest worry in the series. Like, don't fall back. Now, still things we have to talk about is the Xenomorph and Wendy. I'm still not the happiest with the decision they made. I think it's very risky, and me and Scott are going to talk about this probably on a later episode, but I'll talk about it a little bit here. I think it's very risky having the Xenomorph kind of have a pal, have a friend. Like I just don't like that. Like this is what I want to see. I want to see smoke between two species. I want to see the plant be like, you know what, the Toxellis and the Xenomorph ain't shit. And you about to see what I can do. Like obviously we still have the insect creature out there. So there's more and more that we can do with that. I don't need this Xenomorph being someone's pet or someone's friend or being able to communicate because I think that that does take away from it. Again, I like to see things that have the level of, either I guess power I would call it, or intelligence to take down a xenomorph. But I don't need Wendy and a xenomorph running around holding hands and talking and figuring out a way off the island. I think that's very silly, and that is something that could really wreck the franchise. Like I really think it is. I think it's a major risk they're taking with that. But I'm glad they snuck this episode in to be like, okay, they know what they're doing. They know how to make a good episode of Alien Earth. So that's mostly what I wanted to talk about. I'm definitely got to talk about the TXLs more. I got to figure out, I got to do some research, man. I got to figure out if there's some level of rivalry between these species. I got to figure out, has previous knowledge fighting it, because it just knew too much for it just to be like, oh, that's just, his first time seeing him. I feel like there is definitely some history here, but I feel like we are hitting the point where this episode is going to ratchet up. I expect when we get back to the island, we know Nibs and her mental struggles. So we know she's probably going to cause some damage in there. We still don't know what's behind that door that we've flipped to 15, 20 times. Obviously, we have Kirsch in the lab, and we feel like he's very much growing in power, and him and Boy Cavalier are going to follow on differences. We have Slightly still out there trying to kidnap Wendy's brother. I almost forgot his name, but Slightly out there. So, and then obviously we have Wendy, who now has a new best friend, as much as I hate to say it, but doesn't trust Boy Cavalier because she basically caught him lying last episode, and her trust and loyalties now are kind of going away from that. So I think it's really going to be up on the island. Very interested to see that, but that's my review of Alien Earth episode 5. Please make sure you like and hit that sub button. We got a lot of new subs and everybody's really digging these aliens. We're gonna get more polls out. We're working on it. Obviously, Peacemaker is out. Scotty talked about that in the first episode and second episode. So those who are out, he also did a good Twisted Metal video. So video game we played a ton as kids. If you're a fan of Twisted Metal, and like that first season was really good. I haven't called the second season yet, but he's talked about it. So definitely check out that episode. Plenty of stuff coming to the channel. The Boys is coming soon. I can't wait for that. We're gonna have all 3 of these shows at the same time. And The Conjuring is out Thursday, and we're gonna talk about that because we love horror movies here. So a lot of movie content, a lot of entertainment content. Please sub to the channel, like the video, hit down in the comments. I want to know all the theories. I want to know what you thought of the Xenomorph and Toxellis fight. I want to know what you thought of the episode. Obviously, the horror aspects they played in, the real alien kind of mini movie they played. I think all the stuff that were done in this episode. Like, again, if I had to give a rating, and I've been rating these episodes, I'm probably going to do the series at the end. But this is my closest to a home run episode. Like, I was excited. I have no real complaints. I thought everything in here was exciting and leading up to something, and had an amazing payoff and amazing propulsion into the next episode. So that's where that stands. All that good stuff. It's your boy Flyknit J. Again, hit that like button. Follow Minor League Films at all places. Kuronocomics on TikTok. Minor League Films everywhere else. And MLF HQ right here. All that good stuff. I'll catch you next time.